Insanely stupid people on paternity court.
I told her what she wanted to hear. I was leading her on.
Hold on, he just said he told you what you wanted to hear, so you admitted,
Yep.
with pride and conviction,
Yes.
just being a lie.
I was getting married down to my house, so I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage to my friend.
Miss Autry, you can't talk that fast, then turn to the side. I can't even read your lips. I felt like I was at an auction or something. I was like, what?
Mr. Roll asserts he is not the father of Miss Gedelian's twin daughters, attributing her claims to infatuation with him, and alleging she has exhibited obsessive behavior, like taking unsolicited pictures of him. Miss Gedelian contends that Mr. Roll is undeniably the twins' father, accusing him of abandoning her and their children, causing absolute chaos.
First, I want to say, Your Honor, she's obsessed with me.
Why?
She would take pictures of me. She would sit there, she'll walk past my job staring at me. Then when me and my ex broke up, I seen just numbers of pictures that I never seen before. I didn't even know it was being taken.
So wait, you said you saw pictures you never knew were being taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Roll, accused of being the father to Miss Gedelian's twins, claims he was in a relationship when they met, insisting his interactions were friendly, not flirtatious. Gedelian rebuts, stating that Roll's girlfriend was aware of their dealings, highlighting his cheating.
When we started talking, I thought there was a little, more a relationship starting. And then until he told me that he had a girlfriend, after we already had slept together.
Okay.
I wasn't, when you came to my home, I wasn't paying my bills by myself. Someone else was living there. I had
didn't-
pictures on the wall.
You had her at your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Gedelian acknowledges the moral complexity of continuing relations with Mr. Roll, even after learning he had a girlfriend. Her feelings for him already entwined made ceasing their encounters difficult. Conversely, Roll implies that he was transparent about his relationship status, presuming Gedelian understood their entanglement's casualness.
When he told me he had a girlfriend, I should have stepped back and just, stopped completely. But then at that time, my feelings were already starting for him. It was wrong, but we continued to do what we were doing.
I wasn't gonna leave the girl I was with for her. It was just, I told her what the situation was, and she, in my mind, she understood what was going on.
Mr. Roll admits to intimate relations and expressing feelings to Miss Gedelian while still involved with his girlfriend, creating a convoluted emotional scenario. When Miss Gedelian discovers she's pregnant, she takes the bold step of revealing the truth to Mr. Roll's girlfriend, navigating through regret and ethical concerns to share this impactful news.
I found his girlfriend. We talked on the phone, and I told her that, I needed to tell her something very serious. I'm sorry that I did this.
This was like a public service announcement.
No, she needed to know that.
So at that point, you were filled with guilt.
Yes.
Mr. Roll believes Miss Gedelian revealed the pregnancy to his ex out of spite due to his intentional distancing. When faced with the pregnancy news, his doubt over paternity is fueled by knowledge of her ongoing divorce, challenging the situation with additional layers of complexity and potential paternal candidates.
When you find out she's pregnant, your ex has been informed. Do you think you're the father at this point?
No, because she was married.
What?
Your Honor, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had been separated from my husband for over a year. We were in the middle of a divorce that I was the divorce lasted a very long time.
Mr. Roll disassociates from the babies, citing the involvement of another man in significant birth moments and legal recognition on the birth certificate as his rationale. Miss Gedelian acknowledges this but highlights her efforts to involve him and his expressed indifference when asked about another man signing the birth certificate and participating in birth events.
Mr. Roll, you are their father.
I just want to apologize for not being there. It's so much had happened in my anger issues, I just pushed them away.
And I can see that really hurts you now.
Autry accuses Miss Martin of entrapping her son by marrying him and providing him with money, clothes, and other material items. She believes Miss Martin is doing this because she wants a man of her own, and even goes as far as to insult her. On the other hand, Miss Martin claims that Miss Autry disapproves of her daughter.
Well, she entrusted my son by marrying him, giving him things like money, clothes, car, you name it, she give it to him. And she just want a man to call uncle, she ain't no old tramp.
Wait a minute now. Let's use respectful language.
Judge Lake and the audience are having a lighthearted moment in the courtroom. Miss Martin mentions that she and the man in question are still married. Miss Autry then recounts how she tried to stop their wedding, but spoke so quickly and turned her head away that Judge Lake couldn't understand or read her lips.
That's my husband.
That's your husband.
My husband.
So he's still your husband.
Get married
Yes,
to
ma'am.
you. My house, I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage to my friend. I sure
Miss
did.
Autry, I missed all of that. You can't talk that fast, then turn to the side. I can't even read your lips. I felt like I was at an auction or something. I was like, what?
Martin and Miss Autry discuss a disrupted wedding. They moved venues due to Miss Autry's objections. Despite the chaos, the couple married at a new location. Tensions arise from mutual accusations of disrespect between the two women. The relationship between them is clearly strained. Is this because of them being insanely stupid?
It ain't so much as I never cared for Miss Morton. It's just that she has been very disrespectful from day
She's
one.
the same way. I mean, what do you want me to do? You disrespect me all the time.
Well, you came into my home and disrespected me.
But you disrespected me first, Miss
Oh, no.
You kept
You did
disrespecting
it.
me. You kept
You came to
disrespecting
my
me.
house.
You never
told me you
showed
was
me
pregnant.
any
I told you you
respect.
was lying.
Miss Autry caused a scene in the hospital claiming the baby wasn't her grandchild. She was removed due to her behavior. Miss Martin described her actions as irrational. Miss Autry used distinct physical features like toe formations and eyebrows as evidence the child wasn't related. Miss Martin disagreed with her claims.
But it's kind of hedging over though.
Yes,
But
exactly.
ain't no way over there. That's not
Exactly.
It's got to be fully crossed.
Yes, ma'am.
She only two. I mean, give
Okay.
it time. The toes got to grow. Let them develop first.
The
You
little
act
guy
like
right
they
big old toes.
She has toes like Miss Autry as well. They have little feet.
My toes don't. You want to see my toes?
Your
John?
feet
My
are
toes
little,
don't.
Miss Autry.
Miss Martin urges Miss Autry to let the child develop naturally. Judge Lake questions Miss Autry's doubts about the child's paternity, wondering if it's due to her disdain for Miss Martin. Miss Autry insists her doubts are genuine, emphasizing her willingness to accept any confirmed grandchild.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor. I told you.
You are the grandmother, Miss Autry.
I need your help. Can I get an apology?
No.
Mr. Haynes has brought Miss Manning to court to prove he is the biological father of her 4-year-old daughter Zoe. While he claims to have initially been told he was the father, Miss Manning now denies this. Miss Manning has been in court before with another man whom she claimed was Zoe's dad.
Miss Manning sent me a picture, and I thought it was my son at first. It was actually Zoe, and so I took a picture of my son and her, and I compared it, and that's when I thought she was my child.
Judge Lake questions the nature of Mr. Haynes and Miss Manning's relationship, and both confirm it was committed. Miss Manning states they broke up in October, but Mr. Haynes interrupts, insisting it was November 2013. He recalls they were still together during a friend's childbirth. Miss Manning reveals she discovered her pregnancy in December.
You say now that you informed Mr. Haynes he was a possibility?
I didn't inform him he was a possibility until she was like 9 months old.
Oh, so you had the baby and Mr. Haynes never knew. And you had the baby all the way till she was 9 months old.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you informed Mr. Haynes that he was a possibility. What made you send the photo?
He asked for a photo of her.
Mr. Haynes believed Zoe could be his daughter after seeing her picture. Judge Lake inquires how the exchange of the picture occurred. Miss Manning explains she reached out to Mr. Haynes, hinting that Zoe might be his child. He then requested a photo of Zoe. Upon receiving it, he felt a connection, believing she could be his daughter.
It's always been there's a possibility. And the fact that he's waited 4 years to take a paternity test.
And why did you wait 4 years, Mr. Haynes?
The only reason I waited so long is because she kept going back and forth that I wasn't the father. She's already brought someone to the court and got a DNA test, so that was for I didn't think it was mine at the time.
Miss Manning acknowledges having been in the courtroom before, where another man was tested for paternity but was not the biological father. This revelation does not necessarily mean Mr. Haynes is the father. Miss Manning confirms another possible father whose name is on Zoe's birth certificate. Wow, that's just insane.
So are there just 3 possibilities or more? Go ahead and tell the truth.
Just 3.
So one we already tested. The second is on her birth certificate. And the third is Mr. Haynes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know about the third possibility, Mr. Haynes?
No, I did not until I found out last year when I seen on her Facebook.
Mr. Haynes recounts a timeline of events related to the paternity of Zoe. In March of 2014, he received a photo of Zoe and believed that she might be his child based on the resemblance. However, around May of 2014, he received a message on Facebook from Miss Manning informing him that he was not the father.
Mr. Haynes, you are not the father.
That's all I needed to know. Sucks that Zoe don't know her real dad. Maybe she should just get the other guy tested that's on the birth certificate.
Miss Manning, are you positive that the man on the birth certificate?
No,
We've
there's no
come
option.
this far.
Miss Palmer has opened up a case against Mr. Ross, alleging he is the father of her 3-month-old son, Jace. Having recently met her own father for the first time, she doesn't want her son to grow up without his dad. Mr. Ross denies being the father, suggesting that Miss Palmer is targeting him for his money. Isn't this just insanely stupid?
What has it been like raising this child on your own?
It's hard. I raised my daughter by myself. I never thought I would have to go through this myself, not once again. And it's just like, to deal with this, I feel like I should have to go through this. I didn't ask for this, but I took upon all of this because that's what a woman's supposed to do.
Mr. Ross describes how he met Miss Palmer at a gas station in Birmingham, Alabama. It was cold outside, and Miss Palmer was pumping gas with her daughter in the car. Mr. Ross offered to pump the gas for her to save her from the cold. Attracted to her, he asked for her number.
She texted me good morning. I told her good morning. She asked me what I was doing, asked me if I want to come over. I told her yeah. I asked her to send the address. She sent the address. The address was 0.1 miles away. I said, oh, that's walking distance. I can go ahead and go over there and get us on real quick. So,
What? After just meeting her at the gas station?
well, I went to her house. She gave it to me, and I asked. We were having sex for 2 weeks, but we was using protection the whole 2 weeks.
Miss Palmer met Mr. Ross on the 7th and had intercourse on the 8th. Feeling off, she took 2 pregnancy tests, both positive. A doctor confirmed her conception date between the 6th and 9th, placing her encounter with Mr. Ross within this time frame, although she had another partner the previous month.
How soon after this did you hear, after this breakup?
Your Honor, about a month or 2 later, she sent a text message, a picture text message, which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me, it was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
Wait, what?
Your Honor, I
skeptical
told him
about
that
it.
it was someone else.
Well, if that's the case, she had to been sleeping around then.
After receiving a pregnancy result, Miss Palmer initially told Mr. Ross he wasn't the child's father. However, she later confessed she was unsure and was just trying to determine paternity. She apologized for the confusion. Later in August, Miss Palmer and another potential father underwent a DNA test.
Me and the alleged father, we got a DNA test. And in the midst of us getting a DNA test and the results came back, I immediately contacted Mr. Ross.
You immediately did?
Yes.
And what did you say when you reached out to him?
I asked him to do a DNA test for me. And he told me that he was not the father. And then it's just like got to the point where he started claiming my son, sending pictures, everything.
Miss Palmer questioned Mr. Ross's shift in attitude, from being certain he wasn't the child's father to possibly accepting potential paternity and showing support by purchasing a car seat. Mr. Ross explained he bought the car seat because Miss Palmer left hers in his truck.
He used to let me drive his car. That's the bad thing about it. He used to let me drive
I used
his
to let
car.
her drive because her car was messed up at the time. Like I said, we was
And
talking for 2 weeks.
he took the initiative of being a
Okay,
boss
all right.
man.
There was a point in time when he had kind of bought into this notion of that the baby was his.
I mean, he used to say that he used to look like him. He always said, my son this, my son that, and then it's just like all of a sudden it changed.
Miss Palmer shared her personal experience of growing up without her father and only meeting him a week before giving birth to her son. She emphasized the emotional toll it took on her, not knowing about her dad and not having him in her life.
No, I never knew about my dad, but they never initiated the fact who my dad actually was. I tried to research my own father. I never, I gave up after so long. And just for my father to find me a week before I gave birth, my father has really came into my life and changed my life.
And so you feel like Mr. Ross is just attempting to avoid his responsibility?
I honestly do.
After mistakenly sending a pregnancy test to Mr. Ross and subsequently informing him it was a mistake, Ms. Palmer felt it was slightly unjust to threaten child support without a DNA confirmation. She rationalized her threat as a means to coerce Mr. Ross into taking a DNA test. Mr. Ross clarified that he wasn't evading Ms. Palmer.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Ross, you are the father.
So what's next after this? Are you gonna step up and be his father? I was without my father for 23 years of my life.
Yeah, he'll take care of him.